Welcome to Retrograde, the show where we go ducking quackers for retro games. This is episode number 35, and today we're going to be discussing the Nintendo home console title, DuckTales. My name is Jack Marshall, and I'm joined today by Anthony Hobday.
Hello.
Lizanne Fisher.
Hi.
And James McFadden.
Hi.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! How are we all? Anyone got anything they want to share? What's been up? Another 2 weeks? Sup? What's happening?
I have 2 runs left, and I've completed Couch to 5k. So on Friday, I should be running my very first 5k, which I'm very excited about. Pardon?
Down here in Brighton?
This is where I live, yes.
Ooh.
It's not an actual competition, it's just going to to be me running for 5
Oh,
kilometres.
right, we can't come along this year then.
You can, but it'll just be me
weird.
running along the seafront going...
Is that her? I think that's her. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Neil and I went to a wedding at the weekend, which was absolutely lovely.
Yes!
It was beautiful.
Weddings.
Yeah, it was great. Lots of food, lots of drink.
From 1 to 10, how cool was it?
It was probably about an 8, actually.
An 8? Well, that's
It was
embarrassing.
nice.
Why not 9?
Pardon?
What could have forced it up to the 10 bracket? Why not?
The alcohol
Love.
being cheaper.
Oh my god.
And
Expensive
more
alcohol.
food.
Oh,
You
yeah.
mean it was a cash bar?
Yeah, it was. They didn't take cards.
How cheap.
Oh no, I meant not free.
No,
bar.
it wasn't
Oh
free.
yeah, no. You don't need free bars in the UK. But then also,
hope for
as
divorce.
some of you know, Neil and I like car booting of a Sunday morning.
Hello.
And the other week, when we were at a car boot, I found the most perfect present for James ever, and I bought it. It's in my bag.
I'm excited.
Do you want a housewarming present, James?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it down on the table, okay, so you can
Okay.
see what it is, but then you need to turn it over.
She
Okay.
said.
It's a housewarming present.
Okay.
So it's a useful present for the kitchen.
Okay.
We'll let...
What is it?
We're going to have to describe what this is. What is that?
What's the mute?
It looks like
It's a
a
Chopin
It's a Chopin board.
but it's a chopping board.
God, that's good.
And it's got a Chopin on it, and that's James's favourite composer.
That is
See, now-
fucking brilliant.
And it's a double pun.
I'm a little bit... So just to
I
describe,
saw it,
just to
and I
describe
just thought, and I just said,
'Cause he
James
looks-
has to have this.
Not only is it a Chopin board, as in a board that you chop stuff on, but he's bored.
In the picture.
That's the bit I was going to say that I thought they've overdone it there because they got one joke in the fact it's a chopping
No,
board
it's a
with
double
Chopin
pan.
on it, but they didn't have to have Chopin board.
It would also make quite
It could have
a
just
good
been Chopin.
weapon to paddle jack with.
It
Yeah,
could
it
be.
would.
It could be.
Thank you so much, Lisanne.
But
I will
yeah,
treasure it always.
I saw it. I literally stopped and said,
That is
Neil,
really cool.
I have to buy that for James. And I did.
You made the right call. Thank you.
I did. So
need
yes,
this-
happy housewarming.
Thank you.
And
The
I
house
hope you're
is-
forever Chopinning on that board.
Yeah, well,
James.
I will be.
You better not chop any vegetables on that board. That was a gift.
It would get damaged, yeah.
You can't use
Well, you
the
know, you
fine
can use
china.
the other side.
Yeah, I'll use the blank side.
It's like
Yeah,
fine
the blank
china. You
side.
can't use the fine china.
I don't
even
eat
though it's-
vegetables.
Mm.
Come on, I'm
No.
from Scotland. It's ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. But you can't chop up your deep fried Mars bar on it.
Yeah, well, I usually eat them whole, so that's fine.
Of course. Man after my own heart. A deep fried heart.
James,
So,
what have you
yeah,
been,
that's
James,
what
what
I've
have you
been
been up to apart from getting Chopin boards?
That's pretty much it. No, I've been playing so much Grand Theft Auto. It's obscene how much. Hold on, I need to put this in my bag. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, you mean?
Grand Theft
We'll
Auto.
put that in his bag.
It's
stealing my copy.
It's actually. I mean, I don't know how far into it. How far into it are you?
About 33%.
Oh, wow, that's embarrassing. I feel bad for you. It's very good. I mean, it feels weird to compare it to The Last of Us, which is my favourite game, as I'm sure you all know. But it's almost up there. If The Last of Us hadn't come out, it'd be obvious Game of the Year material. But it did, so it's not. But it's fantastic, and it's consuming me.
We already discussed this on email, but I love GTA 5. I'm absolutely fantastically enjoying it, but I cannot stand the story. I am
Really?
so bored of the characters.
wow.
I skipped cutscenes.
You skipped cutscenes.
I compared it. I was saying to a housemate that if you took all the cutscenes of Grand Theft Auto 5 and put them all together, it would feel like a Danny Dyer movie. It'd feel like one of those really lame gangster films.
I get that reference.
Oh, rubbish action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't be bothered. Danny Dyer.
I know who Danny Dyer
no, I've
is.
heard of him.
Anyway,
He's gonna be on
it's just
EastEnders now. That's
it's
how cool he is.
It's so boring. I'm
That's
sitting there,
ridiculous. Like,
and you got Michael going, I hate my family. I'm going to go shoot some peaches. And it's just, it's a really lame storytelling.
Well, I think that when you've only experienced like the first quarter of the story, it's a bit premature to say it. But I mean, the story isn't as poignant as 4's was, but it makes up for it.
I don't feel for the characters. After playing Red Dead and Walking Dead and The Last of
dead
Us,
games.
all the dead games, I just kind
Dead
of
Space.
I just look at Franklin and I just kind
Dead
of
Island.
I can't be bothered with these characters. I'm finding it's a great
You
game
look at
for-
what?
I can't be bothered with the characters. It's like a dual screen game.
Why did you name
done-
Franklin, Jack?
Huh?
Huh? What?
Franklin. Oh, I meant Trevor actually. I couldn't
Oh,
bother
did
with
you mean
Trevor.
Trevor?
I
Oh,
meant
that's
Trevor. I love it.
convenient.
Franklin's the most likable in the three
Yeah, he
characters,
is.
definitely,
He's
because he's the most
most
rags
relatable.
to riches kind of guy.
Yeah.
Where the other two, I just can't be bothered with it. There should have been a little daughter in it. It should have
They've
been
got the whole
a little girl
spectrum.
who's been kidnapped by terrorists, and you're doing all this stuff to try to rescue her. That's what it needed.
They've got everything. They've got rags to riches, they've got rags to rags, and they've got riches to riches. I don't know what more you could ask for, really, to be honest. But yeah, it's very good.
They've got riches to rags.
And we're sitting here right now as GTA Online is on,
It's
and
not
the servers
on.
are
It's
on
very much
fire,
not on.
and the poor IT systems guy at Rockstar's just sitting there rocking, having a nervous breakdown.
The one guy they have.
One guy.
What was it meant to do? Would it make the
it
GTA
was-
5 universe open world, and then you could
go
all
online with, like,
everywhere from other people?
You know how you
people.
can switch characters on the fly?
Uh-huh.
There's meant to be like a fourth option that lets you just switch into the multiplayer like that, so it's kind of meant to be seamless.
Oh, okay.
And then you're online and you can play with other people. But it doesn't work yet.
But like
Oh, okay.
everyone in the world is currently trying to jump on it. And they
Well,
don't
of course.
They don't want to spend millions on servers because in about another 2 weeks, no one's going to be. It'll be back to the normal.
Yeah, no
sort
one will
of
bother
rate.
with it,
So you just have to
yeah.
sit there going, "We're having technical difficulties." Where actually they're doing nothing. They're just sitting
Yeah.
back and waiting for the. Calm.
Which is kind of ridiculous because they did make $1 billion in about 3 days. They can
Yeah.
afford to, but hey.
What's
Well,
strange?
they would eat into that $1 billion, wouldn't it? Then they'd only have million, you know.
Well, $1 billion is $1 million. In America, here it's only 10,000.
they
Oh,
got
it's
rid of that.
1,000 million.
Oh, really?
They got rid of that whole change. 'Cause
Oh, how many million is billion?
it's always a million.
Oh, really?
No, wait, 1,000 million.
It's
Yeah.
1,000 million.
It's 1,000 million everywhere. It was 100 million in, I think, the UK, and then they stopped that because obviously it makes trading a bit difficult.
Yeah.
If you don't know which million you're talking about, you get right shafted by some English people.
Speaking of that,
I
what
know
have you
that
been up to,
feeling.
Anthony? Anything
Wait,
good?
no, I don't.
I've been shafting some Americans. Clearly. Speaking of that, like I'm known for shafting Americans.
Well, hang on. Aren't you the reason why their democracy has just failed?
Oh, I might be.
The government's just packed up. That was you, wasn't it?
They're going, "Do you want Anthony?" They're going, "No, we don't want Anthony." "Do you want him?" "No, we don't." "What we can do? We've got a stalemate here. No one wants Anthony."
Yeah.
Shut it down.
I'm like Julian Assange, but less creepy.
Oh, speaking of Julian Assange, did you know Benedict Cumberbatch is going to play him in the movie?
I well want to see
Yeah.
that. It looks good.
It's gonna be good.
But Julian Assange isn't happy about it.
Yeah, he was really.
What, about Benedict Cumberbatch or the movie?
About the film, Benedict Cumberbatch. He begged Benedict Cumberbatch
Yeah.
not to be in it.
Oh. Well, we don't have an ending for the Julian Assange story yet, do we? Apart from
Not yet.
he's still in the Ecuador.
So they got
House.
to
What if
in
they
London.
write an ending in the film and then that transpires in real life?
Wow.
Like in The Hobbit.
What?
We've been up to Anthony anyway. Anything interesting?
more urban gaming, because we talked about it last time.
Gaming.
Yeah, like capture the flag.
There's got to be a
That's what
different way
Anthony
to,
calls
way to
dating.
say that. Like,
No, it's
why not
like-
just capture the flag? Urban gaming.
Because we don't just play capture the flag, we play other
Oh,
urban
okay.
games.
Is this a
Like
Sussex unit,
Manhunt.
right?
Do you play it?
Monopoly in a car park.
With giant, we actually use real cars. Everyone
Drive
gets
round
to be
the
the
block.
car in our Monopoly game.
You go to jail for real.
No, because we didn't
GTA.
play capture the flag this time, so urban gaming is more fitting.
Oh.
What'd you play?
Uh,
Kiss Chase.
a game called Hunters and Gatherers, which they kind of made up, and then Zombie Tag, which probably everyone's familiar with.
No.
You start as a zombie. Like, there's 2 zombies out of, say, 40 people, and if they tag you, you become a zombie as well.
Are they allowed to run? So it's tag.
Yeah.
It's it, basically. It's Bulldog, kind of.
I guess, but you're not like... I think Bulldog's a bit rougher. Isn't it?
Yeah,
the game,
no,
the game that's played
Bulldog.
by 6-year-olds is a bit rougher. Bulldog.
Yeah, you're not allowed to play it in schools anymore. Bulldog, yeah, because it's
That's
too
when you have
dangerous.
to run from one end of
it's
the playground,
running from
didn't you?
side to
No,
side.
like,
Yeah, without getting
Oh, yeah, it's
tagged.
not that. This is
Yeah.
just like a free-for-all, you
I
know.
was awesome at Bulldog. Really
Cool.
good at it.
Even though you didn't know the rules.
Is that when you peaked in life, Jack?
That was
The age of 6.
Greatest comedy.
When he
Remember that
says was, he was talking about 2 weeks ago. He snuck into a schoolyard and dominated a bulldog.
Nice.
I went to Eurogamer.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to
Oh.
touch me or ask me questions or anything like that, you know.
I'll touch
I
you
saw
later,
on the
but-
internet that the Doom piano was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, da-da-da-doom.
Did you ever go on it?
That was the cleverest tweet I've ever posted. Da-da-da-doom.
Did you ever go on it?
I did. It was ridiculous. You couldn't... I mean, it was just insane. And
How is Doom on a piano ever not going to be insane?
James
Yeah.
could have
I
done
mean,
it.
yeah,
I bet James could have
I don't
done
know what I
it.
was expecting. I wasn't expecting to sit there and just be like running around going didididin, didin, didin.
It's eerie because the
Fantastic.
perfect like speed run of Doom on that piano is also the most hauntingly beautiful piece of music ever
Well,
written.
you say interestingly speedrun. We went to the retro area and there was a guy who was attempting the world record on Super Mario Kart on a SNES on the Ice Lake 1. And you had to do it in under
Vanilla
1 minute.
Lake 1.
Vanilla, yeah, that's it. 1 minute 50, I think, or something. No, it was even less than that. It was like 50 seconds. We were watching. He was getting furiously angry.
Well, yeah, you got to hop over to be able to do that one.
He was just constantly like spinning sideways, going hop, 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 all the way
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the course. And if you just hit a block, you'd be like, oh, start, reset, do it again.
Eurogamer is not the place to be doing that. Why not just do it at home and then send...
It was nuts. I was really
Because
pleased.
then people won't appreciate his effort.
I was really pleased in the retro. Actually, it was a company called Replay. It was very clever
Shiny
that they were giving out cards, and you can basically rent all of their retro equipment for like events like weddings or like whatever you want, really, like parties and stuff like that. I thought it was actually quite clever. They had Mashed, which I was so happy to see they had Mashed. But I should probably talk about the big games I played.
Did you get a card?
I've got their details and stuff. Yeah, I might hold a private event of
Excellent.
my own. Just getting come around here, sort of stuff.
Like Rock Band night.
Like Rock Band night, yeah.
Should
They
never
did
happen
have
again.
Rock Band there. It was 2 Guitar Heroes. But anyway, I turned up, played Titanfall first of all. 2.5 hour queue. Wasn't worth it.
Oh, really?
Kids behind us in the queue were going, they had no idea about personal space either. Constantly touching
When
me.
you
And I was
say
like,
kids,
stop. It's like 18-year-olds. They had to be over 18 to play Titanfall. Constantly bumping into me,
Getting touched
smacking
up by
into
these
me,
18-year-olds.
getting well excited. Like when we got to the point where you could see the screens, they were like, right, learn the buttons. What does A do? What does A do? What does B do? And I was like, I just felt like going, it's exactly the same as Modern Warfare. It does exactly the same buttons, all right?
So you were playing it on the 360?
It was on PC in the end.
Oh,
I thought it was going to be on Xbox One, but it was good. And it was nice, and it was pretty, and the Titans worked well. But it was just a first-person shooter at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
just
always
went-
going to be just a first-person shooter.
But,
But mechs and military stuff in
I
the future.
got to finally have a go on Oculus Rift, which was fantastic for about 5 minutes, and then I got really ill to the point where I was sweating. Felt like I was really sick, and I had to take it off. I was like, mate, I'm really sorry, I'm feeling really ill. And he goes, yeah, that happens a lot. And I was like,
wow.
okay.
no Oculus Rift for Jack when it comes out then.
No, I got to play PS4.
How was it?
I
controller?
don't like the controller, but
really?
Mark, who I was with, he preferred the controller over the Xbox
Do
One.
you like the PS3 controller?
I don't have a PS3.
Have you ever
So
played
I like the PS3 controller, but PS4 I just felt I didn't. The thumbsticks just felt a little bit too slick for me. But I guess I would say the same about the PS3. So
Yeah.
it was a nice piece of kit.
Isn't
the
that
graphics looked
PS3
good.
down there?
That's my housemates. I never play it.
Oh,
But, yeah. But Xbox One went to Forza Motorsport 5 and played that, and it was really nice. Controller was really good. That's about it, actually.
I was wondering why you had devil horns.
It was good. Apart from that, I'm trying to think what else happened over the day, but there wasn't really much. It was very.
Is that
low.
all you played at Eurogamer?
The queues were ridiculous. Call of Duty Ghosts, I went up to the front of the guy at the queue. I said to him, mate, how long have you been queuing? And he goes, 3 hours. And I went, it's not worth it. And he angrily went to me, yeah, it will be worth it. I was like, no. And I felt like, going, no, it's not. It's coming out in 3 weeks. Stop being an idiot.
Yeah, but he's paid all this money to get into an event so that he can play it 3 weeks before everyone else.
I'm trying to think. The best game I
care.
played was a little game called Chroma, little indie game.
Oh, yeah?
Where you play a little guy jumping around who's a light, who emits a light source, but his shadows cast angles. And if you press a button, you become the dark version of him, and he can run up the angles of the shadows that you cast.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's really clever. So it was like a platform game. That was definitely the one I went, oh, that's pretty cool. Had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, that was
Was
about
Transistor there?
it. Transistor?
Yeah, the new game from Supergiant, is it? They made Bastion, you know?
I didn't see it.
Oh.
I was looking forward to seeing Sir You Were Being Hunted, and that wasn't there. Which I was
Doesn't
a
look
little
very
bit
good.
gutted about.
The only coverage I've ever seen of it is on RPS because the guy from RPS is making it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But no, any other game? I mean, Wolfenstein was there, didn't play it, looked boring. Assassin's Creed 4 looked boring, same
Yeah.
old thing. It's on a
Boring.
pirate ship now. What else was there that was quite big? That's about it, really. FIFA 14. It was a bit boring, to be honest.
well, I'm kind of glad I
Did they have
didn't go.
Pokemon X and Y?
They didn't. I played Sonic Dash, and I played New Mario World 3D.
Oh, is that any good?
It's Mario in 3D. It's really, really
Wait,
fun.
for 3DS?
For the 3DS and for the Nintendo Wii. So I played the Nintendo Wii version,
Oh.
and it's just like the 2D Mario, but it's in 3D. And I know it sounds really bad. Way of
Wait, isn't
explaining
it the 3D land, but basically 4-player?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And I know
it's
that's-
Super Mario 3D land, but 4-player.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a really bad way of explaining it, but yeah, it's literally that. It's 4-player, which is awesome, but it's just like it's like 2D Mario, where I kind of went, yeah, it's awesome, yeah, and I just walked away slowly. And that was about it. Any other games anyone want to ask me about? I mean, I'm a bit of a ledge
Did you
now.
play the new Professor Layton?
Wasn't there? I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Generally, Nintendo had quite a weak show, to be honest.
Did you play? Did you play Watch Dogs?
No, because they only had an interactive trailer. They had a trailer, not even interactive.
Oh,
It was interactive because you got to get your phone out and hack the Wi-Fi at the Eurogamer thing. And I was like, and there was like a trailer and people queuing up to watch a trailer. I was like,
Yeah.
get out. Get that out of my face.
So you
That's
could
what I
go
said.
first in line.
No, we went straight to Titanfall, which was... And that was it. Forza Motorsport 5 was pretty good. I can't really think of anything else.
So
Sorry.
not a lot to put on our Christmas list then.
Not really. There was nothing that I played that blew me away that I went, that was incredible, basically.
Chroma was the most interesting thing.
Chroma was probably the best one I played, yeah. Anyway, sorry I've waffled on about Eurogame. I thought that was going to be a really exciting thing to talk about, but actually thinking about it, no, it wasn't that really exciting.
No, you didn't really enjoy it.
Another
so,
disappointment from
yeah.
Jack.
See, I leave out the stuff from the last 2 weeks that I didn't enjoy. I just don't talk about that in banter.
Well, because it's a gaming podcast, I figure got to talk about it.
Well, in that case, I should let everyone know I'm getting a new 3DS XL tomorrow. I'm getting the blue Pokemon one.
Excellent.
Special, ready for Pokemon X and Y coming out in a couple of weeks.
I got spat on by a hobo. That's what I didn't enjoy in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Why
I
did he
can
do
understand
that?
why you didn't enjoy that.
I asked him to.
Yeah. I can
Paid
see that
him to.
happening.
Figured I needed to try it once. You've got to try it once, haven't you? You've got to try everything once.
Otherwise, how will you know if you don't like it?
Exactly. Don't judge a book by the hobo spitting at you.
Okay, should we talk about... Oh, no, we need to do competition, don't we?
The Paul Monahan giveaway.
The Paul Monahan giveaway. Take it away, Anthony.
Last time we were giving away a copy of Rage in honour of the Doom episode, and the winner of that is William O'Hryn. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And we're going to be contacting you on Twitter to let you know, that give you the code for the game. It's on Steam.
Well done.
In honour of the fact that you go to the moon in this week's game, we're giving away both...
That's a weak link, but go on.
I like it. We're both giving away both Flynn and To the Moon. And Flynn is FLY''N, so it's almost like flying, so it's flying to the moon.
See what they've done there?
Flying to the moon,
snap.
right? So you'll win. Flynn is like quite a cutesy indie platformer, and To the Moon is this. It's a top-down, sort of like a 2D JRPG, but it's all
but
story.
There's no RPG there.
Yeah, it's all story, but I've heard great things about
It's
it.
phenomenal. I
Right.
played it recently. It's really good.
It is really good, To the Moon.
So Flynn's there for the gameplay, To the Moon's there for the story. If you want to enter, we're going to put out a competition tweet. Just retweet it. You'll be entered. You can no longer tweet at us to enter. So just look out for the tweet, retweet it. You'll be entered for the next episode, and we'll announce it then.
Woo woo. Yeah.
Woo!
Cool. So, yeah, today we'll be talking about DuckTales. Before we do that, let's have a brief blurb on the game from James Hanford, owner of the blog Randomized Gaming.
DuckTales is a classic platform game made by Capcom for the Nintendo Entertainment System and was based on the Walt Disney cartoon made during the 1980s and starring Scrooge McDuck. It was released in the US in 1989 and was released in Europe and Japan in 1990. It was later ported to the Nintendo Game Boy and received a sequel in 1993 entitled The Original DuckTales 2. In 2003, Capcom commissioned Way Forward to make a HD remake that has recently been released on Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U and PC.
Thanks for that, James. And you can visit James's website over at randomizedgaming.tumblr.com, and there'll be a link to his site on our show nights at psycon.net/R35, because it's the 35th episode.
Yeah.
In case you didn't work that one out. I didn't work it out, it took me a while. DuckTales.
Woo!
You chose it.
I like that.
You chose it. Why did you choose DuckTales? And let's talk about it.
Are you not happy today, Jack?
I'm
Here's some
fine.
stuff I did enjoy. Let's talk about a game.
It's a great day. That's what I sound like.
It's exactly what you sound like.
Go on, Anthony.
First of all, we haven't done a
My
lot
name's
of.
Jack Marshall.
We haven't done a lot of Jack Marshall grade. We haven't done a lot of NES games.
You do that joke a lot.
So, yeah, I know. It's because we talk about things that aren't retro games a lot.
Tangent grade.
So I wanted to try some more NES games because I feel like we were all possibly too young to really have experienced the NES in its prime.
In its prime, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in its prime. I mean, we obviously experienced it later on, everyone loves insert NES game here, but
Never played that.
it's great.
Is that a tattoo or?
But the thing with DuckTales is it's commonly, and this might be in your trivia section, but it's commonly in like top games on the NES, and it's a tie-in game, so it's good to compare it to tie-in games
Would
of
we
the
say
modern era.
cult classic?
Well, no, it was Capcom's best-selling game on the system,
really?
so not cult classic, no. Sleeper hit, I think we'll call it.
Fair enough.
We call a lot of things cult classics. I'm not sure we should in this game, just because we weren't around when they were popular. Real cult classic, because I haven't heard of it until now.
Gone with
This
the
was
wind. Cult
Capcom's
classic.
best-selling game on the NES of all time.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty
All
sure I
time.
read that on Wikipedia today, I think. So, yeah,
okay.
maybe verify it. Fact checker.
I'll do it. I'm on it.
I thought they made Mega Man.
They did.
Yeah, but I guess this had more appeal because it's Disney.
Yeah.
All the kids were buying it, whereas Mega Man was too hard. But this game is hard as well. I mean,
It is hard.
it's known for being difficult, even though I suspect it's probably slightly easier.
I wouldn't say it's the hardest game on the NES, obviously, but yeah, I would say it leans towards hard.
Well, it's only hard. You need to master the pogoing.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
annoying.
And then once you've got that down, then it's actually it's quite a fun game to play. I found.
When you said lean towards the hard, you sort of put your arm along. It was like a needle on a dial, and I was thinking it's called the hardometer.
It is.
That's the hardometer.
It's the hardometer.
And then it swings over here, and you go, "Whoa, it's getting rock hard over here."
Wouldn't it get soft?
No, it goes that way if you want to get... No, it doesn't get soft. It's easy. Nothing gets soft.
So it was a very well received game. It was a tie-in. I believe this was the first one that Disney had made by Capcom. Because Capcom made a lot of games for Disney.
But I believe so. I know. I was going to say that DuckTales was the first TV show that Disney put out as like a... What's it called? Like syndication. Where it was like a TV show based on one of their IPs. But yeah, carry on.
So because it was such a huge hit, and because it's apparently, it's often rated as one of the best games on NES, I thought it'd be good to look at. Because now it's obscure enough that I think it's worth revisiting. Obviously, back then it would have been, everyone knew about it.
Everyone had it, yeah.
Well, you say it's obscure enough, but they've just gone and done a HD remake literally last week on 360, which I downloaded.
Way Forward Games.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched saw some YouTube videos on it when I was looking for an episode of DuckTales to watch.
And just to confirm what Anthony was saying, DuckTales will go on to sell over 1 million copies worldwide on each system, becoming Capcom's best-selling title for both platforms of the NES and Game Boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy that back then 1 million made it a company's best-selling game.
Oh, 1 million is still a good number today for a game.
You say that, but
it depends on the game.
It depends on the size of the game.
Yeah, but GTA, that's sold like, 5 million?
Oh yeah, that's an extreme case. But if something like, I don't know, Spec Ops: The Line sold 1 million, they'd be all right with that. They'd be like, well, it's not great, it's not what we wanted, but we'd be happy.
You say that, but Square Enix, who own EI-DOS and made it Square Enix Europe, whatever they're called, they handled
Tomb Raider failed, didn't they?
Yeah, they handled Tomb Raider and Sleeping Dogs and Hitman. So that was all them, and they were all pretty well received games, especially Sleeping Dogs and Tomb Raider. And they released all their financial earnings, which didn't even include digital sales, I don't think. And they were selling like 5 million copies per title.
They called them thirds.
And Square Enix said they weren't financial successes.
Yeah.
So the fact that they could sell 1 million copies of DuckTales back then and it was their best-selling game, and now you can sell 5 million and call it a financial failure, kind of blows my mind.
Yes.
But gaming's so much bigger that you have to put a lot more budget into it. Like
we don't have to, but often companies do. I mean, some indie games are selling 1 million copies.
Yeah, but you probably couldn't sell this for 5 million now if you released it as like a AAA.
Well, we'll see. They've re-released it as an HD remake.
Yeah, it's $15 and it's probably like a much lower budget. So.
We did Mega Man, and this was from the development team did Mega Man. We did that as a previous show. Do you think this sold a lot more copies because having all of us played it now, this was easier and more approachable to Mega Man? Like
I preferred this to Mega Man.
It's obviously the cover art. Have you seen the cover art?
It is pretty colourful.
There's very little deformity on the DuckTales cover art, so I suspect that appealed to the kids.
I found this initially very difficult to play, and then very quickly I started getting not very good at it, but I started going, oh, like the bumblebees on the first level.
The bumblebees
bloody
are terrible.
bees, bloody
Yeah,
bees.
they're very
But I started
irritating.
mastering them, and I was the king of the bees after a little while. I was the bee's knees, if you will. But yeah, so it wasn't...
I think it's important you point out that it was made by the Mega Man team because they built it on the same framework as well.
And you can really tell, can't you?
Yeah,
'Cause
you
you
can
can,
tell
like-
from the palette, obviously, but
And you can select the levels you want to go to, so you're not...
that's nice.
But I've got a bone to pick with that because they said how it was like a pick what level you want to do, and yet some of the levels you go to them and it'll go you can't come in here till you go get the key from Transylvania.
Yeah,
It
but
kicks
you
you back to Transylvania.
But
It's like,
Yeah,
well,
but
what's
then
the
do you know
point?
what? It then lets you straight into the secret bit in Transylvania to
it's
get the
the-
key, which is near the very beginning.
Illusion of choice.
But if you think
what
about
it's
it,
doing.
in Mega Man, there were bosses that you had to get certain weapons to beat easily.
I guess so.
So
yeah.
it's a similar sort... I mean, unless you wanted to be really hard.
And that makes sense because if you present all the levels at once just with no need to qualify, then it kind of eliminates any sense of progression. So
Yeah, because once you've done the last level, why is anyone ever going to go back and do the first?
What I think as well made this very fundamentally different from Mega Man, and what I dare say actually preferred almost to Mega Man, is that jumping mechanic of his stick.
The pogo.
Yeah.
It made
Yeah.
it go from being a like average speed platformer to suddenly being a very fast, like if you
Yeah.
think you're good enough and you think you're hardcore enough, do the pogo thing and just go mental bouncing.
Yeah,
bouncing,
pogo
bouncing.
through it.
Did he-
I think that's why people love it so much, because you can master that speed essence of it.
Did he
Yeah.
pogo in the show, or did they just add that for the game?
No,
No.
he didn't.
I don't really get I don't even know what the story. I mean, in the remastered version, they had a storyline and everything, but in this, I don't know what it's. I mean, why is he at the moon? Like, I was laughing with you saying like the game map has like a picture of all the places he can go, and they've clearly gone, oh, we've got the moon, so they've just had to include the moon in the corner, which
Yeah.
just makes no sense. I was like, oh, okay, there you go.
It's like when you see a map of America and they've had to put Hawaii and
So they must
Alaska
have gone,
just in a random corner somewhere.
and I don't even
That's
get.
what we do.
don't-
That's what we do with Jersey, Guernsey, and
Yeah.
the Orkneys and
You
stuff
don't mean
like
to
that.
tell me that Alaska is not just a really weirdly shaped island?
it is.
With a really straight
Yeah.
east coast.
I thought
It's just
that
in the
was one of the-
Pacific somewhere. They got hit by that oil spill. Real? Is that the Pacific?
Alaska used to
I
be
don't know.
Atlantis. True story.
Cool.
But even the places they've got in this, the Amazon, Transylvania, African mines, the Himalayas, and the moon.
How are they all on the same landmass? I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah, I know.
Why do they even name them
But
after
this
real
is-
places?
It's
It's a pan-
Duckburg.
it's a pan of
It's,
fare, yeah.
It's
But we
set
have
back
the
in time,
Amazon.
before the land masses kind of drifted apart.
There
to
we
other
go.
continents.
I know what Panacea means as well. I'm impressed.
But
by
they were
that.
speaking
Okay.
English.
You know what means, Jack?
Did you say Panacea?
No, I said Pangaea, but the word you're referencing is
Oh,
panacea.
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 Oh, we're not going to do this again. Panacea means a cure for all things.
No, panacea means
Panacea.
a cure for all things.
What does panacea
Spelled
mean?
with a C. Panacea is not a
means
word.
nothing. I'm not saying
It's
it.
not a word.
What's it called when all the islands
Might be a
were
word,
together?
but it's not.
Pangaea.
Pangaea.
That was like
Damn
one
it, I
continent.
was so close.
You were, Jack.
Okay, I'll pull that out in the next episode. But yeah, so why the hell was he going to the Himalayas? Was this in the show? Because I remember watching DuckTales, and
woo.
ethically, pretty shallow. It's all about his money. I don't really get that. But we're like, the whole
yeah.
show was him protecting his money, which is pretty.
Well, no, I
bad.
watched.
Yeah, well, no offense, James. He is Scottish.
Do we?
Are they
Scottish
famous
people
for-
aren't known for money. What?
Scottish
they're
people are
known.
known
Do
for
you
being tight.
Do you live in opposite
Are they?
land? Yeah,
Apparently.
the rich
Scot-
duck is
the
very typically
stereotype-
Scottish.
No. The stereotype is that Scottish people are tight with their money.
Is that the stereotype?
I've never
Yes,
heard
just
that.
like the
I've never-
stereotype.
I've
You're
never
being
heard that.
sarcastic. You're winding me up now.
So you're telling me that I'm not generous as a person?
No, I'm just saying I don't
Well,
mean
if
to
you-
offend you
well,
as
if
a
you-
Scotsman
if you insult my
by
people, you insult
pointing.
me, Sam.
I'm not
Wow.
insulting the people. I'm pointing out the
people.
existing
If
stereotype.
you're against stereotypes,
The existing
boycott this
stereotype-
podcast. Thanks,
I
Lisanne.
gave you a present, man.
Yeah, well, that's cancelled out now, isn't it? We're back
Duck
at baseline.
you.
Oh, ow. No, you're right, I am tight. Continue with the podcast.
Would you like a deep fried Mars bar to calm you
I
down?
would. Do you have one? If you gave me one right now, I would accept it. I would just eat it mid-podcast. That's how good they are.
They are amazing. But yeah, but that's the stereotype. And, you know, the fact that they call him Scrooge, they're playing on Dickens' Christmas Carol kind of thing, Scrooge
But-
McDuck. It's all a play on the being tight and avaricious with your money.
But no, but what I mean is that, like, I remember watching the TV show and looking back on it now, I think that's quite shallow. Like, I don't remember him ever. There should have been an episode where they were like, give up all your money to
I'm
save
sure they've done
Huey,
that.
Louie, and Gooey. Or whatever
No, but
their
he
names
had-
are.
Huey, Louie and Dewey,
I think-
they
I thought it
did
was
that.
Gooey.
The important,
I never saw that
favourite.
episode.
the important thing is he had a heart of gold, though.
Yeah, he loved those kids.
Oh, okay. I just remember him swimming in his money at the end of every episode, going, "I'm still rich."
Well, that was the
That was
the
the
visually.
titles.
Which I had to actually have this discussion with a housemate about whether you could actually swim in coins.
No,
I was
you
like, no,
can't.
you
You
couldn't.
could not swim in
And the
coins.
example I gave was if you walk on like a pebbly beach, like down here in Brighton, you don't just fall through the pebbles. Like you'd have to
That would be
force yourself.
terrifying.
And then it kind of went into a discussion about what would be the best things to swim through.
Maltesers.
Couldn't swim
I
through
don't
those
think
either.
you can
That'd
swim
be
through
difficult.
Maltesers.
I think
You can swim through Maltesers.
I
if
think
like
you would die.
Skittles.
You couldn't
Skittles
swim
would be
through
good.
Maltesers.
That would be no Skittles would just be like pebbles again. It would like fight the tension.
They were a lot
wouldn't-
smaller though.
I
Yeah,
think
but
you
there'd be
would
loads
die.
more of them, surely.
There's only one way we can find out.
I think you would
On
if, like,
swimming
if you
grade.
swam in jelly. If
Jelly
you swam
would
in
be-
You
jelly,
can't
I
swim
think
in
you'd
jelly. It's
die.
solid.
Yeah, you'd die.
Have you not seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Yeah, exactly.
Only once. I
And
didn't
then
like it.
this is a serious question. We got into that. This wasn't even a drunk conversation. This turned into a conversation of what would happen if you put a whale in a big tank of Coke.
It would
So if
just
you had
die.
if you had a killer whale swimming around in Diet Coke,
It would die.
of what?
It would suffocate because it hasn't got any
It
oxygen.
goes to the top. I don't mean
Yeah, they
put a lid
breathe
on it.
through
It goes. It's whoosh at the top of the tank, doesn't
The
it?
pla-
They breathe through the blowhole.
It's a
Oh,
mammal.
yeah, of course.
So
I know,
it-
it'd probably get
would
loads of
burn-
caffeine.
It would burn its little eye holes.
Well, I was thinking. I wondered if it would like turn to a skeleton after a couple of days. That was my theory.
Well, if you put a penny into a glass of Coke, apparently
Cleans
it
it.
cleans it.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be really shiny.
But then
That's
I guess
all the citric acid, though.
Right,
You could do
if
the
I-
same. You could put it in lemon juice and it'll clean it overnight.
if I put my
Same as
hand
Coke,
into a
it's the
bucket
citric
of
acid.
Coke and left
Whale
it there
grade.
for a couple of weeks, what would happen?
Nothing.
Osmosis.
It'd be a bit
I think it
wrinkly.
would. I think my hand would be pretty buggered. I think I'd lose the use of my hand.
No, you would not.
I would.
Don't be so
I would take it out and be like,
ridiculous.
Jack, do you realise we
Jack,
drink?
right? If
we
you
drink Coke.
if you had a little cut on your hand, it would sting a little bit, and that is all that would happen. If it was
know
just
the
your
bit-
hand
No,
in
do you know
there,
what I imagine?
it would be really sticky and gross.
I imagine the bit at the end of Indiana Jones when they see the arc open, they all start melting. That's what I reckon would happen to my hand. I'd pull it out and be like,
in citric acid. You think
or
that's
like
how strong?
Back to the Future, when his hands
Hydrochloric.
disappears. Yeah.
Hydrochloric acid, yeah, not citric.
Can we talk
acid
about
break.
DuckTales, please?
DuckTales. James, you haven't said anything much about DuckTales. What do you think about Planet?
That's interesting because recently we had a discussion outside of the podcast in regards to the format, and we were going to, listeners, the way we were going to do this to make it more interesting for you was we were going to mention sort of the aspect of a game like music, graphics, replayability and stuff, and then let everyone chime in. Because previously we've been doing it one by one, kind of giving our opinions, then moving on.
Well, I think James,
And,
we were doing that, and you just weren't chiming in. So
Yeah,
Jack was
you were
calling on you
participating.
specifically.
And this is a participatory.
Oh, I see. Right, I wasn't. I'm tight. I don't participate. Right.
Not you.
In that case, I thought Scrooge McDuck was actually quite an ethically sound character, profoundly deep in terms of
you like
philosophical exposition in his story, and I really think he was quite a stand-up character. The game, I mean, it's a 2D platformer. What do you want from me, Jack? How many of these have we done? Come on. It looks good for a NES game. The music is really nice. The gameplay is obviously 2D platformer gameplay. It's nothing special.
He was batting on about the moon level music.
Fantastic.
Everyone does. It is really good.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
That's exactly how it sounds.
Not when you do it like that, no.
I'll play it in the background now so that people
Yeah,
can listen
I
to
bet.
it.
Okay, yeah, play it
And
now.
they can hear what I'm doing. They won't be able to tell the difference.
It was like a harmony.
But yeah, so you like the music?
Yeah, I like the music. Move on. No, I thought it was. I mean, it's all right. I don't really have it in me to say that I love a two-dimensional platformer anymore, let alone a really old one. They're just the overexposure is so massive.
We have done a lot on this show.
Not even just in the podcast.
Yeah, but there were a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were.
yeah.
Just
that's
like
true.
there is a huge amount of first-person
Exactly.
shooters around
and
now.
I do not think that I could enjoy a first-person shooter that wasn't miraculously BioShock
Yeah.
or something nowadays. And so going back, yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's aged well. It has aged well. And
Yeah.
the gameplay is uninspiring, but by the standards of the day, I'm sure it was fine. Probably not exceptional.
I don't know. I think the pogoing, I still think that is actually a really good mechanic.
It's one mechanic, though. I mean, it doesn't take much to think that up, really.
Well, yeah,
far
but other 2D platformers of the time, they didn't really have that mechanic. Like in original Mario Brothers, there wasn't even a go faster button to run.
Well, that's certainly.
You know,
As far
so
as-
this added that extra layer.
They call
didn't
it the run button, in case you're wondering.
Well, yeah, I know.
It's a go
The
faster button.
accelerator.
The original controller was labelled, because Mario was a pack-in, it was labelled go faster button.
It had a stripe on it.
red stripe. You mentioned the mechanic. I do like the mechanic of pogoing, but I want to mention the controls, which I think are terribly stupid. And I think this is an example of companies making games harder just by making the controls harder, which is
Yeah.
the worst way to... Just like padding these days is making the game longer.
Yeah.
Back then it was controls. So the fact that you had to hold down and B rather than just holding B in the
Yeah,
air.
it was very irritating.
And the fact that you had to hold... Like, walk into an item you want to hit and then wait for it to like register and then press B rather than just pressing B when you're standing and it's swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think you can use the stick against enemies, so why would it require you to walk into something first? They just made it seemingly unnecessarily complex, and that really bothers me, especially as a method to make a game harder. Which reminds me of that game that's like an interactive movie that we've talked about and I played.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Yeah, they made the controls basically...
That game.
They made the game difficult by making the
They
controls.
did.
Oh,
The controls in Heavy Rain were so simple. A child could have done that.
Simple.
Move the
Trigger
analog
button to
stick
walk.
in a circle.
It's like Monkey
Hold
Island.
R1 and L2 at the same time, Anthony. Can
Monkey
you not do that?
Island,
It's two
point,
buttons, my
click.
You're being
friend.
sarcastic.
It was like press square and hold up on the D-pad to stab a prostitute. It was easy. It was simple.
Just like
I
that.
could not do that easy. No.
And any game that gives you a trigger button to walk forward has not really thought through or is intentionally
There are
being...
quite a lot of games that do that. Didn't the old Resident Evils do that?
Yeah, but that's
No, they
that's
didn't.
what I'm saying. I'm comparing Heavy Rain to games of old because they made the controls unnecessarily difficult. just to make the game more difficult.
But they didn't. The whole point with Heavy Rain was that the game wasn't difficult. It was meant to be very intuitive, and you're kind of meant to take in the story and the atmosphere.
Yeah, so I think the only reason they could make it any difficult at all was they had to put in like walk on a trigger button just to make it really obscure and difficult and annoying, rather than just making it an interactive movie. So I'm saying that I'm drawing a parallel here.
I see. Heavy Rain and DuckTales have committed the same cardinal sin.
Yeah, I mean, like they often come up together in reviews. When people do a retrospective on DuckTales, they often compare it to Heavy Rain. I think that's the most natural.
For a few years, I thought that David Cage did did DuckTales. So.
I would love it.
It's a lot of the same people, I think.
Yeah.
I'd love if there was a reviewer that no matter what he was reviewing, he somehow brought it back to DuckTales. Just in his conclusion goes, and in summary, Civilization 5 may be a great game, but it does lack a duck with a pogo stick.
No, Civilization 5 does have a duck with a pogo stick.
We'll mod it in.
Yeah.
His name's Gandhi.
Gandhi. It's like a really strange statement about Gandhi.
Does he not have a staff in those, like...
Yeah, I think he does, actually. I'm not sure he pogoed on it, though.
Well...
One of the things I was going to say about this game that I maybe realised, I really do like this game. I think it's actually very good. One of the problems I guess we do on this show is when we review a NES game or something like that, is that we don't take into account. Is it fair to compare it to its contemporaries at the time?
Yeah.
For example, if you play a game like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES, which is also some people call a classic, oh my god, this is so much better than that. Oh my god. And
I played Turtles Through Time. Was that SNES?
No, that was on SNES. The NES version was just nuts.
Okay.
Like you swim against jellyfish and stuff like that. But,
wow.
And this was really nice. And graphically as well, this was also very pretty.
Lovely.
It does look good.
It's lovely.
Yeah,
I could believe it was a Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
one.
me too, easily.
That's what I like about, especially
It's
NES
very
games,
good.
is that since the colour palette was so simple, they had to be very bold with their art choices.
Yeah.
And there are some that just use, like, for example, a black background for everything, so it looks terrible. But games like this, where they put the effort in, and obviously they're taking cues from Mega Man, because that's what they were working
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must have got...
It's sort of timeless because of that, because it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it must, like... I don't know if it's more to do with the legal side of it and the licenses of it, but... I mean, they've just done a remastered version of this game. They've just done one as well of, like, Castle of Illusion. So...
It does look amazing, the remastered version of this. It looks beautiful.
I played on the 360 version. It's actually really nice. They've actually done a really good job of replicating it.
Strange thing about the
Quite
remaster
faithful.
is that the characters are all really well animated 2D.
Yeah.
The stages are all 3D platforms.
Yeah.
Which
It's a nice
like
look. It has got a nice
It's a
style.
bit
to
weird.
it. It's
No,
weird.
Donkey Kong Country Returns does the same thing. They're like...
Oh, with the like 2D characters and 3D
And it goes to
platforms.
3D platforms, yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that aren't the character models actually 3D in that game?
Do they?
And the levels are 2D.
No, I think everything's 3D. It's just from a 2D perspective.
That's it. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in
Thank
the
you, James.
remaster of this, it's almost a different perspective on the... Because you can see the tops of the 3D platforms slightly, because they're angled.
Yeah. Oh.
But the characters are completely flat, which is a bit weird.
It worked for me. I liked it.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It's just a
very
little
clever.
bit jarring compared to this, because it's a slightly different art style. You know, this is all flat, basically.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be otherwise, because
It
it's a NES
says
game.
it says something about our buying habits these days. That about half of the games we've done in this show have now got HD remakes somewhere.
Well, we're choosing games that were popular enough to remake, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean,
One thing I would have really loved with this game would have been co-op. And to have played as one of the triplets or as the little girl.
Gooey.
You know, gooey.
Gooey.
It would have been... I think they really, really missed a trick there with not making it co-op, because it could have been really good fun.
Yeah, co-op is the only thing that redeemed World of Illusion, as we've discovered.
Oof, careful.
But this is a better game to start with, so...
Yeah, but I just think it would have really, really benefited from having
But
that
I mean-
option of a second character.
Mega Man, I don't think ever had co-op, so... Maybe on the later titles, so they probably weren't even considering it, because that
But I
was-
mean, also considering how relatively short this game is,
Oh, it is very short.
to add a co-op element, it would have given it a greater longevity.
How difficult was adding co-op back then? I mean, like nowadays we take it for granted that if they want a feature, they can just put it in the game. But it must have been
difficult.
It must have been quite
I
challenging.
mean, they
to sort of
had
get
two.
grips
They
with
had
hardware
two
back
controller
then.
ports, and they didn't do it. Like off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of a NES game.
That's the only reason.
Well, like
The next game that did, Goof Troop.
Super Mario Brothers. That's SNES. Super Mario Brothers 3. I mean, that was Nintendo, and they did it by taking it in turns.
Yeah, that's not really co-op. That's just
Yeah.
And also, there's a lot. I would imagine, like I was saying to Anthony when we were playing Scrooge, when we were playing DuckTales. There's a lot of times where like you'll get a key and you open a door, but the door won't actually open. He'll just walk through it and kind of like click through it.
Yeah,
And
with
wobble.
the sprite layers.
So I'd imagine that having two characters kind of next to each other, overlapping, like collision and things like that would just cause...
Well, even not from a technical standpoint, you'd obviously have to redesign most of the game just to support 2 players.
And also the, they call it parallax scrolling, the actual scrolling of levels. When Super Mario Bros. 1 first did that was actually very kind of revolutionary. And the reason they couldn't walk backwards in the first Super Mario Bros. Games, they literally didn't know how to do it. They didn't have technical capabilities yet of doing that.
I think parallax is when two sprite sheets move independently.
It looks 3D.
So you're just talking about scrolling in general, right?
And it's the same reason. It's the same reason why we were saying how, like, if you go in this game, if you go up and you fall down a bottomless pit, you don't fall down to the level below, like Mega Man did, which is what was interesting because they didn't do it in this.
It might just be a design choice.
It could be a design choice, but I wondered if it was more the tech like limitations of it. And I'd love to see I'd love to have seen like an article on like the post-mortem of stuff they couldn't do just because of technical limitations, but I imagine co-op was a very common one.
But then again, maybe because it was a tie-in, they didn't really want to put the effort into, because they might not have thought it would sell well.
Yeah, I mean,
they were just making a game for someone else. It wasn't,
and also DuckTales wasn't out yet, so they didn't know if it was going to be a good show anyway.
Really?
I thought it was.
What?
Well,
the movie came out in 1990, and that was the end of DuckTales. DuckTales was around, must have been around from like the mid-80s.
I'm just quickly...
No, the movie was definitely 1990 because we tried watching it last
this
time.
came out in 1989, 1990. So, you're probably right. Maybe it had been out for a little while. There was only 2 years DuckTales, though. It was out as a TV show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't like a...
They repeated it lots then.
Yeah. Well, there was also Tailspin was a spin-off. Darkwing Duck, whatever it's called. Darkwing Duck,
yeah.
Darkwing Duck.
They made a game based on the Mega Man engine for him as well, and that was more Mega Man-ish. I was going to
Have we accidentally stumbled into trivia, Jack?
100 episodes across 3 seasons. So,
okay.
That's quite a lot per
That
season.
is a lot.
Well,
Like
there are 20...
3.33 recurring.
20 minutes long. So...
And they did the movie.
And they did a movie. But
and now you know exactly how much footage of DuckTales is out there.
This ties into something we were saying earlier, but I was going to criticise this game for having such random level locations. Like, there's no real connection between all of them.
Apart from the fact that children would have probably heard of them.
Yeah, but
like
then
the African mines.
That is a bit morbid, isn't it? It's like Blood Diamond.
It is awkward. It is. No, I think it's just...
Before DiCaprio tackled the issue.
Exactly. I think it's just places where, there is... treasures to be found, like the
like the African mines.
There are mines in Africa because there's lots of diamonds. But like the Amazon, there's lost treasures in there. It's rumored that the Fountain of Youth is in the Amazon rainforest. Things like that. The Himalayas, you've got the abominable snowman who lives up there.
Yeah, he's very valuable.
Yeah,
and the moon, of course, it has the
cheese.
The cheese, which
the moon is made of cheese. Yeah. But it's all, they're all tied in with that idea that there are mythological wealthy things in those locations.
But then because I was
did it.
That's good. I hadn't thought about that connection, but I was going to criticise it because it was all so seemingly random. And then I watched the opening theme of the show, and they go to all sorts of places in that, like mummies' tombs and things. So this made way more sense after that.
Yeah, like.
I thought they were just choosing random, colourful places to go, but actually
what did you think? They were going to go to like, the coffee shop on the episodes?
I thought it might all be...
to the laundrette this week, kids.
Because I haven't seen it forever. I thought maybe it was set in Duckburg, just all of it.
Well, I didn't realise there was actually quite a large Donald Duck universe that exists of Duckburg, and the fact that...
Wait, isn't Donald Duck separate from...
No, Donald Duck is also...
Duckburg.
Oh.
Yeah, he's also related to them. Yeah, he's Huey, Dewey, and...
Scrooge is his...
Dad?
Brother.
Brother, yeah, because
Huey, Dewey, and Dewey...
But Scrooge is old.
He's their uncle as well. He's their Uncle Donald.
Daisy Duck?
Yeah.
She was the thing. She has 3 nieces called April, May and June as well, who were like the counterparts of the 3 boys. Kind of like Alvin, Simon and Theodore had... the
3 girls. I can't remember their names.
No one cares. But yeah. Do you remember the Chipmunks? Oh, did I have a game?
One was called Brittany.
One was called Shakira. If you know what I'm saying. But no, there's a whole Duckburg universe. There's lots of characters and stuff, and Scrooge is the wealthiest one, and he's always getting his money stolen by something like the terrorists or something.
You can tell why they didn't include Donald Duck in this game, though. That guy is the world's biggest sociopath.
Oh, he is crazy.
I was going to drop this in trivia, but one of the reasons I didn't include him because apparently they were worried that people wouldn't understand his voice. which I thought was really stupid because he's been in the game, like he's
But
been in
none
Disney.
none of these characters
I know.
talk.
I read that trivia thinking someone's made that up
Is
on
that
IMDb.
why? Maybe that's why he's not in the show.
I don't know.
No, he appears in DuckTales.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. I remember
Oh.
watching a couple of crossover episodes when he's there.
Huh. Killing people
Well,
with anchors in the ocean.
Yeah.
DuckTales
But
also.
you know there was an episode where he was abusive to Daisy in the home.
Yeah.
What?
I
I know
There
he's a
was a
Na-
domestic violence.
I know he's a
Back in
Nazi
the day.
episode.
Yeah, there was the Nazi episode. There was also the domestic abuse one.
Every great show has a Nazi episode, I mean, you've got to have it in there.
The Wire's Nazi episode.
And not to be flippant, but surely a domestic abuse in a cartoon is rampant because they're always hitting each other and stuff.
Well, Tom and Jerry was every week.
Well, no. As in,
Yeah.
it was at the time. It wouldn't have been considered domestic abuse. However,
It was just regular abuse.
Now it would be because society has.
So it wasn't
evolved
just
a
like,
bit.
you stole my cookie, I'm going to slap you on the head. It was
No.
like, I'm going to hit you in the face with a beer can.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, what did he do to her?
I can't remember. I just remember hearing
Yeah,
that
I need
somewhere.
to see this episode now.
Why,
What?
Jack? Why?
Well, get some
Get
notes.
tips.
Well, the Flintstones are the first ever characters to be shown in bed together, as a man and woman in bed together on television.
It's not right.
And
which I
then
thought was
they
interesting.
followed that the next week with Barney and Fred in bed together.
I can't believe, like, in our lifetime, the first ever sort of like gay kiss was on television in the UK when I remember watching Brookside, I think it was.
Oh, was it?
When I look now, that seems,
Yeah, there's two
seems like
women kissed on
nothing.
that. And then EastEnders quickly a month later did the first male gay kiss.
They were like
Oh,
shooing,
right, it was
shooing some
girls.
gay people.
It was girls at first.
Oh, that's easy.
Because that's
of
more
course.
socially
Yeah, it's
acceptable.
going to be girls. God.
So yeah, no,
Bloody
DuckTales.
Are we, wait,
Speaking of
are
lesbian
we
kisses-
in trivia now?
No, we're not in trivia, but I was just going to make up some little points about the fact that it actually reviewed really well. EGM gave it 8 out of 10 at the
This
time.
feels like trivia.
Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know where we are right now.
Sold 1.6 million units worldwide.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, woo!
Woo! And then, yeah, since then, it's been getting loads. Like, Nintendo Power listed it in 2008 as the 13th best Nintendo NES game, which is not impressive when you actually list it 13th, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It's weird,
And,
though. There are a lot of games that you think were not as good in their time, and they've somehow been, like, revived, and nowadays people think they're awesome, but this clearly isn't one of them. Like, obviously it was good then, people think it's good now. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a criticism. I just mean that some games are kind of retroactively discovered. This wasn't one.
Nintendo Power, and bear in mind it's Nintendo Power, put it at number 44 in its list of the 285, don't know why, greatest games of all time in 2012.
It's as many as they could remember.
44th, sorry, so 44th
Not bad.
greatest game of all time.
When was that? What?
2012.
Year? Oh, weird.
Well, they're considering it in context and everything. I mean, it's not just in 2012.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, they're not going to like go...
Put it up against modern
You're not
warfare.
going to suddenly put, Call of Duty and you get this and kids are playing this all over the world.
I prefer this over Call of Duty.
It's
Easily.
undeniably better in every way.
Yeah.
44th.
Is there anything else about the game we've not really covered? I can't think much. I mean, we talked about the ethical dilemma of Scrooge being rich and kind of keeping his money, and
It's very weird.
it's
that he's
bad.
Scottish.
You know,
also,
you
I
shouldn't be
learned that
doing
my
that.
people are.
I always find
untrustworthy.
the technical limitations
said you're
that you see.
untrustworthy.
You said I was untrustworthy.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said that I was selfish.
I
and
said you were
untrustworthy.
tight, that was all.
You
Also
said that I was
dirty.
stupid.
I didn't.
Also
did.
hairy.
I didn't.
Are you calling me a liar? I'm not a
Yeah.
liar.
We've
Lisanne. I'm
recorded
not a liar.
everything you've said about him, so we can just go back and
Yeah,
listen.
all right. They're probably going to
Why
edit
are you
this out.
being
but,
mean?
she said that I should die. Everybody.
Why are you being mean?
Why am I being mean?
I'm not being mean. I'm just pointing out a
Apparently
stereotype about the
because
Scots.
One thing we didn't cover about the game is that it stars ducks in clothes, and I think that animals wearing clothes is in itself an ethical dilemma, because
Yeah.
who put them on? I don't know.
Ducks are really mental as well. Like ducks,
As you
are,
can tell from this
IRL.
game.
no, ducks are like insane. Ducks are like the nutcases of the like the bird.
It's not like
This
there's
duck is
one.
pogoing everywhere.
They have like, don't they like they're into necrophilia?
Yeah.
They're into like they have like very odd shaped genitalia.
Oh yeah, it's like
It's a corpse.
spiral
You can't
or
blame him for the
something.
shape of their
to keep them
genitalia, Jack.
hooked. You know, I don't want to go into detail for kids at home, but like,
But basically,
like,
it's a corkscrew. That's going to be really painful for lots of reasons. That you
it
should ask
is
your
really,
parents
and they're
about.
really awful. Like they eat, like they'll happily attack each other and stuff, and like they eat anything.
Is it
apparently.
geese that will break your leg if they hit you?
Oh, geese are evil. They're the most
Yeah.
evil of all the birds.
Gooses.
Someone tried telling me swans are. I was like, no.
No, it's apparently swans.
goose.
A swan can break your leg with a single flap of its wing.
That's
And I've always
scary.
loved that because of the single flap of its wing part.
One's enough.
I don't know.
You
I don't
ain't
know
getting back
anyone.
up.
I think they just made it out of urban legends. So like, but I don't know the RSPB. So you don't
Goats,
touch swans.
Well, you're not allowed to touch swans anyway
They
because the
belong
queen
to the
owns them all.
queen.
Yeah, the queen comes over and is like, "Oi!"
What?
Yeah.
What are you
Did you
talking
not know
about?
this? It's
No,
treason
really?
to kill a swan
They're
because there's some
protected.
ancient law.
Wait, is it
that's,
actually treason?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it is taken as an attack against the throne.
Well, let's look that up. But it's they're protected by the queen.
Are they like native to England? Do other countries have swans? Don't they?
I think so, but I know that. I think they're one of our natural.
The Queen owes everyone.
But no, it's an ancient.
12 of them.
It's one of those old laws, like Henry VIII. He would love eating swans or whatever, and so to stop other people killing swans for their dinner, he said,
"Yeah, I've never had a swan."
He said that he is the only one. He owns all the swans. No one else can have a swan ever. Otherwise, it's treason, and he'll kill them. And that way, he has all the swans.
Actually, yeah, I've never eaten a swan. I didn't
If you have it just coming into your mouth,
That's 'cause you're not
the queen
allowed.
nips in and grabs it out of your hand. And it's like, no, it's mine, and then eats it. Because she's got swan juice running down her chin.
So can the queen eat a swan if she wants?
Well,
Yeah.
obviously, she can do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever she wants with the swans.
She eats swans every night.
She wears swan hats.
She's also the only person in the country who doesn't need to have a driving license.
And she doesn't drive.
Because she doesn't drive.
Also, she's still
No, she
doesn't have to.
did drive during World War
She
II.
fixed
She
trucks.
owns the roads.
She was a mechanic
I think
during
she
World
owns
War II.
all the cars.
She
even the
owns
Volvos.
us.
I think we're overstating some of the queen's powers here.
Once
guys.
when I was a kid, a dog bit me. It didn't have teeth. It kind of quacked on my finger.
A goose chased me once.
It was- oh, really?
It was horrifying.
Did you put your finger in its mouth?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have bit me. I don't remember
Did
what
it
happened
duck
next,
you?
but I woke up 5 hours later covered in blood.
When I was young, we had chickens, and our dog used to. It would look into your eyes, and it would completely maintain eye contact and put its jaw around the neck of one of our chickens, just testing the size. And it would be staring at you the entire time because it knew it wasn't allowed to do it. And then it would eventually, the chicken would just stay still for the entire thing, and it would eventually pull its jaw off again. You'd be like, "Well, that's okay."
That's hilarious. That's
It's like
brilliant.
that dog on the internet with the cupcakes
Yeah.
that freaks out when they can't eat them.
Yeah.
Now I'm better.
And our dog was just like, "I want to bite down, but like, I can't."
That's a really weird relationship moment.
Woohoo.
Yeah, but
So-
anyway.
DuckTales. I not much trivia this week, but do you want me to open up the trivia file for you?
Yes.
Great, let's get some trivia in here. I've actually got hardly anything, it's pretty boring. January 2009, IGN listed DuckTales as the 18th best TV show in the top 100 best animated TV shows of all time. I put that in there because I thought they were quackers. I can easily name 20 better than DuckTales.
Where did they list it, sorry?
IGN in
18th.
2009.
18th out of...
Out of 100
Top
best
100
animated TV
animated.
shows. I mean, let's just think, got Simpsons and like Flintstones and Jetsons,
I mean, it was
and Futurama and
iconic.
South Park and all that. And then you got things like the Hurricanes. You got to get them in there as well.
No, DuckTales was better than Hurricanes.
Thunderbirds.
That wasn't animated. That's puppets.
Oh, I'm thinking of Thundercats.
Yeah, don't get those confused. Yeah, Thundercats. Have you rewatched Thundercats since?
Terrible, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking.
Do you reckon one of the Thundercats ever wandered onto the Thunderbird stage by accident? Like, I shouldn't be here.
They were like the Thunderbirds. Acting was a bit
Just
too
attacked
wooden.
all the Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds was really weird.
I didn't.
It was
Yeah,
creepy.
I didn't care for it that much.
Wait, is that
Snarf,
trademarked?
snarf.
Is that
That's
trade-
Thundercats.
We should put Pokemon above
Oh, yeah,
DuckTales.
Thundercats.
Yeah.
Pokemon was really good.
Original Pokemon, first season Pokemon was amazing.
I always love when he's like, the reaction, we go like, "Hurrah!" and then just go still for about 4 seconds before anything happened. Oh, the Pokemon film, spoiler alert, when Ash dies and Pikachu's just trying to
What?
when Pikachu's
Ash
trying to
does
shock
not
him.
die.
Well, no, he doesn't, because Pikachu's shocking him, going,
Temporarily
Pika,
turned to
Pika,
stone.
Pika, going mental,
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to shock him.
yeah.
And all the other
Cries back to
Pokemon who
life.
are about to have a massive fight all stop and cry and go, blue, blue, blue. And then because a tear lands on his face, he wakes up again, which is stupid. They should have killed Ash off.
Kill you off.
In the original comics that were drawn by Carl, the story was by Carl Barks. The Money in Scrooge's Money Bin.
Wait.
Carl
It was
Barks.
by Carl Barks.
Yeah.
Is he related to Karl Marx?
No, Carl Barks.
That's hilarious.
That'd be like what Karl Marx calls his dog. But Scrooge's Money Bin is mostly silver and copper. Almost none of it is gold. Which I thought was a bit weird. Development of the game was overseen by then Disney game producer Darlene Lacey, who worked with the Capcom staff to ensure that the title was of Disney quality and met the company's family-friendly ethics standards.
Sexist.
So, revisions to the game include the removal of crosses from the coffins in Transylvania's stage, replacing them with the letters "Rest in Peace" instead, replacing hamburger power-ups with ice cream, and the omission of an option for Scrooge to lose all his money, which was deemed un-Scrooge-like. And if you
Well, of course, he'd never lose all his money.
and if you played a prototype, version that was leaked, they are still in there, which is quite cool. And the only thing I had, which was actually personal trivia, that I remember when I used to work for Disney, there were 2 guys who I remember chatting to whose job it was to go around to like they had to find copyright imagery of Disney characters, including like sexual imagery, which shouldn't be on the internet. They had to track down and find and shut down. But they also have to go to funfair parks and find unofficial rides that got Disney characters painted on them, and they have to shut the ride down. He said, go along on a Satellite Friday and go, I'm really sorry, can you stop that ride? You've got Donald Duck on it and it looks dangerous and we didn't give you permission.
But mainly the Donald Duck thing.
He had to
Oh, the
chase
Simpsons parody those guys.
He had to chase after like ice cream vans that have got Mickey Mouse on them. Oi!
Oh.
That's
Stop.
a really mean job.
It's good. I mean, if you made a character though, like imagine if like you made a character and then
You're Disney.
you go.
On a nice
You're
cream van,
Disney.
are you having a laugh?
It's on a night.
Bloody hell, send the dogs.
No, but you've made a character and you go down and your characters are on the side of like a really dangerous
But you're
slide, which a
forgetting-
kid dies on.
But
You go,
I've
kid
also-
dies on the Lizanne ride.
I've also made
because the kid
£50
died.
million. If the kids die, then yes, shut it down. But don't shut it down just because it's got my character's
Well, hold
face
on.
on it.
So what if I drive around an ice cream van with Harry Potter all over it? I'm the Harry Potter ice cream van. Whoop, 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 whoop.
You get sent to prison.
Yeah, exactly. That's not right.
No incendio here. I'm not the ice cream.
Spectro your ice cream or whatever. I don't know. I don't read Harry Potter. Anyway, trivia over. So let's go into the retrograde part of the show.
I think you mean trivia clues.
Trivia closed. Wasn't much trivia to be honest. Anthony, we're doing retrograde. So
Yeah.
what are we grading this as? Someone better say it.
Axe.
Types of birds.
I knew you were going to choose types of birds. I knew you were going to choose types
Bit
of
an obvious
birds.
one, isn't it? I don't even know what I'm going to choose.
I like it. I know what I'm going to choose.
I'm going to go for a pigeon because they're quite fun to look at. They're quite hilarious, and then sometimes they like kind of bobble around on one leg like Scrooge does in the thing. But also they get a bit manked up every so often. They're a bit, get a bit knackered, like one leg missing, a bit all over the show. So they're not like you wouldn't want this as a pet.
Okay.
Pigeons do have a lot of foot disease.
But
Bit of a shame.
very good. They've lasted.
Very good.
They're still alive.
Evolutionary, they're doing
Loads of them
alright.
all over the place, doing really well. And as evolution goes, I mean, they're kicking ass in the bird world. I mean, they are probably the most dominant bird species, right?
I would go for the macaw parrot. Because it's a very simple colour palette, but very bright and effective. It can also mimic tunes and whistles and sometimes the human voice. It's not the best parrot at doing that, but it can do it. And so that's where the repetitive element from DuckTales, the game,
And also
comes
the
in
NES
with the
is poor
parrot.
sound quality.
Yeah, poor sound quality on the NES. But they're really good to look at. They're fun. They're a classic. That's the stereotype. So yeah, I'd go with a macaw parrot.
I'm going to go with an owl because they're very wise. There's a lot we can learn from them, but you wouldn't want to own one because they're not very exciting now. Parrots, not parrots, owls.
Come on, owls are pretty cool. What other animal can turn
They
its head
take
that
your
much?
letters for you.
What are you
You should not
jibber-jabbing
see
about?
Harry Potter.
Take your. I thought you meant like letters, like in
Can I ask you?
Countdown. You've got some letters and they take them off. It's like, what are they going to do with them?
That's a vowel.
When you say we've got, there's not much you can. When you say there's not much we can learn from them,
No. We can learn a lot from them because they're so wise. But nowadays, there's more exciting birds you could own.
Wait,
like
owls
a-
aren't actually wise. That's
Yeah,
like
they are.
anthropomorphism.
animal physiology.
No, they sit on branches and look around 360 and they tell you wise
They
stuff.
teach you how to get across Hyrule Field.
Are you confusing real life with the Legend of Zelda?
Yeah.
How are they wise? They're birds.
It's
They're
a
stupid.
stereotype.
Exactly. How is that?
It doesn't mean it's true.
Okay, right. I'm having difficult. I need to take this very literally. So you think the game can swivel?
Yeah. it swivels, that's right.
Can
Comes
it
out
duck
at night.
itself?
No, we can learn a lot from them, but they're not the best looking anymore, and there are more exciting birds to own.
New birds that are released every year. Are more attractive.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on the same page with you there. The bird I'm going to choose is the pheasant because
Pheasants are hilarious.
people like
They are very funny.
people. I guess they hunt them. Do people eat pheasants?
Yeah, it's tasty.
yeah.
You don't
It's
have
nice.
to hunt a pheasant; they'll just run into the
Yeah.
bag.
They will
But,
just lie down. in
Just
the
drive a
oven for
car.
you.
They'll run into it eventually.
Yeah, they're
Anywhere.
when you're talking about birds, pheasant will come up eventually. But it's like pheasant. Yeah, how does that impact me? I don't care. Pheasant, whatever. It's my review.
Brilliant. Got a pheasant, a pigeon, an owl, and a
Macaw parrot.
macaw parrot. That'd be a fun night out. I'll tell you that. Yeah, so thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, you can visit our website at retrogradeshow.com. And show notes for the show can be found over at psycon.net/R34, where you'll find links to our Twitter feed. R35, sorry, where you find links to, we'll find links to our Twitter feeds and Facebook page, where you can enter our competition, right, Anthony, to win.
Yes, you can win Flynn and To the Moon, double prize. Just retweet.
It's a double prize this week.
That's
like
actually very fitting. Retweet.
Yeah. Oh, like a bird, yeah.
Like an owl.
Just re-quack our competition quack, and you'll have a chance to win during our next episode.
Wouldn't have worked. Twitter would have been quacking.
It might have done.
I'll quack you.
Who knows? I'll quack you, sounds good. Hey, quack me later.
I'll quack you up on Quacker. So yeah, if you enjoy the show, which clearly when we're talking about stuff like quacking,
I saw you got a mention on Quacker. I saw Stephen Fry re-quacked your quack.
I've got 50,000 followers reading my quacks. So okay, yeah, quacking great.
Most tweets are more like quacks than tweets. They're not very musical or light.
Come on, a quack is musical.
No, I mean, quacks describe tweets better because tweets kind of like pleasant, but most tweets aren't very pleasant.
If you tweet us to enter the competition, if you add quack, you might win more likely.
You might get a badge.
You might get a badge.
We're not going to.
But if you did, well, if you want a badge, the best thing to do is go to iTunes and write a review for us, because you'll get a badge. All you got to do is write a review and then PM us and say I wrote a review. Send us an address. I'll send you a badge. Oh, that's awesome. We're going to be back in 2 weeks where we're going to be playing Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yeah!
Chosen by Lazanne.
Yes.
Quick reason why.
It's Pokemon.
And why not the first one?
Because it's not as good as the second one, basically. And I haven't played the first one. I've only played the second one.
But mainly the first thing.
Mainly just because it's Pokemon.
Am I going to have to
excuse
somehow
play
get
Pokemon.
like a Game Boy cart and hook it up to my N64 that I'm going to be legally playing it on? Like, how am I going to do this? Because I haven't got a set of Pokemon.
You can if you've got the N64 and you've got the cartridge, you can activate the rental copy function, which unlocks all the Pokemon for you.
So I get these
and then you can use all the Pokemon. It's fine.
So I get these second-hand Pokemon.
No, they're not second-hand Pokemon. They're fresh.
They're a bit dirtier on the screen.
Like held in the back alley, like going, come out here, boys.
They look
You're
a
up
bit
again.
They look a bit dirtier when you're playing with them.
A man chop with one arm missing.
A what?
Coming out.
A man chop?
He means a Machop.
A man chop. A man chop. Are you kidding me?
Wait, are we
right
back
now?
to talking about arm steaks again?
Man chop.
Jesus Christ.
I don't remember the names of the Pokemon. I'm an adult.
Stop saying arm chop.
Chop.
Man chop.
Man chop.
Oh God. Just end it now.
Or a Ratta King. Or a Rattatatata.
Ratta King.
Or Rattatatata. Anyway, yeah, so Pokemon Stadium 2.
And it ties in quite nicely with the fact that X and Y is released in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so that should be fun.
So, yeah.
As a minigame where you can eat sushi as a Pokemon, which I think...
The new one, X and Y.
No, Pokemon Stadium 2. Or maybe that's one.
Do you eat like a Magikarp? That's just wrong.
Maybe. That'd be good.
It's a bit weird.
Well, I don't know. Magikarp, I think it would taste pretty stringy.
Why would they take it out? That's a killer feature.
What, Magikarp?
No, eating sushi as a Pokemon. I would have thought that was the selling point. The only bullet point on the back, surrounded by really small screenshots.
I would buy that game, definitely.
Pokemon sushi.
You can force your creature to be a cannibal. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, thank you for listening. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks from that episode. So that's goodbye from me, Jack Marshall. A goodbye from Anthony Hobday.
Goodbye.
A goodbye from Zan Fisher.
Bye.
And a goodbye from James McFadden.
If you take issue with anything said in this podcast, and I know we do have some Scottish listeners, please feel free to tweet us and just let us know.